What a show we're having today. Gentlemen, I forgot to tell you, never has a show on JKL trended #1 before it started. You guys must have some magic.
He's going to send you the bill. we'll invoice you.
Tweets are coming in so thick and so fast, by the way. We're going to go random here, okay? We're going to go across the board. So first of all, Steve from Sparkle and Shine. Have you got, you know Sparkle and Shine, this new car wash here on Mudangari?
Yeah.
Yes. Great guy, Steve. Yes. Great guy. He says, say hi to the senators, love the dialogue, great minds, leaders we need.
Thank you.
Fred Obach Machoka.
Roga.
Says, Jeff, why can't Kenyans just resolve to give these two young men the leadership of the country? And we see, it can't get any worse.
Should we just say that?
Right? And then guess who just weighed in on Twitter? Mutahi Ngunyi.
I tell you.
Mutahi's watching. Yeah. He says, hi Jeff, great show. My friend Sakaja, though, should update his reading list. He says, Why Nations Fail is a dead book. Lazy reading. Young Sakaja should read The Bad Samaritans.
Bad Samaritans.
It is daring, bold, and honest.
The only way you'll know it's a dead book is by reading it. But I'll take up that offer.
Yes.
I'll read that book.
Yeah.
The Bad Samaritans.
Mutai gave me a list a few years ago in Djibouti of books which were on badness. And I read them. So I take his message seriously.
Yeah.
But it's good to read widely, even the dead books.
We're taking notes.
You're taking notes.
Oh, yeah.
You're taking notes.
We'll tell you about the Bad Samaritan. When you're back.
It's quite poetic.
Yeah.
Shamela Ondowe. Do you know Robert Ondowe from the UN? You must know him. I'm sure you met him at the club.
No.
Great guy, great guy. His wife Shamela says, ask Senator Sakaja about the dead rhinos because he's reported as having said that the CS must take responsibility.
Yes.
I said so too.
You said so too?
Yes.
Go on.
I said that today on the floor of the house. I said that, the buck must stop somewhere.
Yeah.
My good friend, the CS, cannot come and tell us that this, the translocation was approved by a board that does not exist.
Right.
They left office in April.
Yes.
This happened, in the month of June. And then in the midst of it all, come out and ask Kenyans to take a long walk off a short cliff and go to hell. That was the language, the culture of public service. And I'm glad he apologized. But it's happening too much. The other day, you remember, he cancelled the sponsorship of Kenya Rugby Sevens.
Just like that.
Just like that.
20 million, just because they protested wrongly. And I told them they didn't do the right thing by covering Brand Kenya on their t-shirts, etc. Sure. So he cancelled the Brand Kenya sponsorship. And he told him, my friend, Brand Kenya is not the logo on the t-shirt. Brand Kenya is the rugby team. Yeah. It's the 15s team themselves, the 7s team. When they go out there, they represent us much more than all expos you do. All of these, people you put on business class to fly around the world talking about Kenya. Yeah. Our rugby team is doing a better job. So I think there he needs to quit. And I'm glad he apologized. People are joking that he said, he meant to go to Hell's Gate. And it was a joke out of taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, out of 700 rhinos that we have, losing 10 should not be taken lightly. And somebody must be held to account for it. And that's just the culture that we need to have in this country. I'm not saying he needs to be fired or he needs to resign, etc., but he must take responsibility. You can't keep, things cannot keep happening in my house where you picked me up from today.
Yes.
And I say, it's so-and-so.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
You're blaming those guys.
It's my driver. No. Take responsibility and say, look, this happened. We're sorry, this is what we're doing to correct it. This will never happen again. Kenyans want to see somebody who, number one, takes responsibility, respects the intelligence. Kenyans are not fools anymore, and is humble enough to actually talk to Kenyans with respect.
Jeff, I'm a fan of wildlife, and I've been to all the parks. I've been to Serengeti. Went with my wife Anita to Serengeti. And that material time, there was an elephant that died mistakenly in the park. Four ministers were fired.
What?
4 were fired.
One elephant?
1. 4 were fired. And that is the reason, Jeff, that in Serengeti, Tanzania, there are 14,000 lions, while we have 2,000 and reducing. Now, when you have 10 rhinos.
10 dead rhinos.
10 dead rhinos, and they are collecting the horns and putting them in a museum, Jeff, you need to study the life of a rhino. I went to a place called Gerende. Maybe you may take notes, Jeff.
Yes, I'm taking notes.
Gerende is in Masai Mara. There are 2 white rhinos. Those rhinos are walked the way people walk their dogs on the streets. 4 armed police watching them every step of the way. 10 rhinos is a national shame. Let me tell you. Najib Balala should not find space. You should not give him airtime to first of all insult us and then apologize.
Right,
Jeff,
right.
Insult and then apologize. Because his apology is not going to return those rhinos. I can say this without fear of any contradiction. Jeff Koinange, you and I are not going to be here long enough to see another 10 rhinos like those ones. It's not possible.
Jeff, let me give you the situation as it is.
Go on.
And I didn't know we talk about wildlife. I think it's from a question, but this is economic survey. 2018. I think it's reading that Mutai Ngunyi will approve. Look, 2016, buffaloes 18,700. 2017, 17,000. Bachel's zebra 110,000 in 2016. 2017, 104,000. Elephants 22,000 2016. 20,000 in 2017. Grand gazelles 112,100 down to 106,000. Thompson's gazelle 42,600, 40,000. Wildebeest 240,000, 228,000 in 2017. Are we preserving a heritage for our children where they'll be learning about these animals in books and on their blackboards? Jeff, surely these things should not be taken lightly, and I'm glad she's raised it. It should not be taken lightly. You know, these are heritage we'll be bestowed to our children that we got from our fathers.
We'll be watching on YouTube, by the way.
Watching on YouTube. We're going to Tanzania.
Or going to Tanzania
to look at animals.
Yes.
No.
And saying we once had these.
Not even that, Jeff. You just look at the shillings and cents in dollars that we get just because people are coming to see some of these things. These are rare animals, like the black rhino. Same with the white rhino that I have told you to go and look for in Gerende. Some of these animals, it's like finding a spotted hyena or a striped hyena. These are rare animals. We would put them on some GPS coding. And the fellow, I'm telling you, says because they took saline water and blames everything under the sun except himself and dresses so smartly when he's addressing us.
And tells us to go to hell.
And tells us to go to hell. And he expects us to clap for him. Chief, what are you talking about?
It's a low. That was a low. We hit rock bottom.
And like you said, any other civilized society, for lack of a better word, you step down.
National treasure.
You walk away from that job.
We call them the Big Five.
Bus.
The Big Five.
The rhinos amongst the Big Five.
Is amongst the Big Five.
And we should go to hell.
And then we should go to hell. He is appointed by the president. He is answerable to the president.
I'm glad he apologized, but he needs to know it doesn't stop there.
Right.
We want to see real action.
Yes.
And we want to be sure that we are preserving. And these numbers, we want to see the economic survey of 2020 having improved numbers.
By the way,
trend cannot be going down.
I spoke to Richard Leakey earlier on today. I had a bit of a conversation, and he said these folks were told long before, check that water out, guys. Check before you translocate these rhinos. Check the water out.
Yes.
They didn't bother.
Of course.
Maji too.
Zitakunywa. And then he was taking selfies as they were transporting them. Pepo mbaya. I'm so offended, let me tell you.
I hear you.
I'm offended.
You know, where did we go wrong?
Because
where did we go wrong?
The economy is we're not doing that well. This is an income earner for the country. People are flying here. We are losing tourists to Zanzibar, by the way, in Tanzania.
Correct.
I'm telling you. We are losing tourists.
They're all going there.
They're all going there.
Look at Obama and his family. Typical small example.
Imagine.
Michelle was just there.
8 days. Or whatever it was.
Yes.
They spend that time in Tanzania.
Yes.
And then hubby comes here for a minute and a half.
Kogelo. And then takes off.
Goes back.
Do that math.
And then the fellow just says, go to hell. Ah, buana.
You know,
fortunately, it's not in our committee.
Fortunately. Yeah, unfortunately, 152 of the Constitution talks about National Assembly.
National Assembly.
I would move a motion to impeach him.
Immediately?
Yes. Without a doubt. There is no answer to this question.
No.
No. Let's deal with it when he's at home.
But then this is, again, this is typical Kenyans. People think they can get away with anything.
I think for Najib, I'm very sad that this is a blot on his career. He's had a distinguished career in public service. He's done amazingly well in tourism over time. Yeah. From the time he was mayor of Mombasa, is someone who we've looked up to. You know, he needs to do something about this. He must do something about this.
What?
You know,
is he going to do?
He needs to do something about this.
Do the right thing.
Yeah.
What? Resign. Other than resign, what else? We are not going to do AI on rhinos.
No.
We are not going to. These are, by the way, let's be serious. These are not cows. These are not bulls.
You know, you are so right. It's not cows at all.
Oh yeah, we go and look for semen.
Correct.
No.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to get a rhino like that.
We need to see a change in these numbers. And we need people to be more serious about conservation.
Gentlemen, switching gears once again, the president's Big Four agenda, you know, started out so beautifully well. I mean, even I remembered it after a while. You know, affordable housing, universal healthcare, manufacturing, which means industry, jobs, blah, 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 food security. I mean, you know, it became, you know, it was good in the beginning, but now it's being covered or smothered or pushed to the side. And I find that very sad, because these four things could be a game changer.
It's a fact.
And yet, who's talking about it? Who's talking about them?
I'm not quite certain, Jeff, how this Big Four was supposed to be rolled out so that it makes sense. Where I'm seated doesn't. When you deal with food security, and immediately after mentioning food security, you're importing maize from Uganda to our silos. It's ridiculous. Farmers in Rift Valley, let me tell you, even the people who are traditional supporters of government are quiet. But I know a senator who has 5,000 to 6,000 bags of maize which they cannot sell. A bag is going for 1,100. People in Makueni are suffering. We have a glut. We have ndengus. Yet food security means government buys food. Food security, if you read the story in the Bible about the 7 years of famine, you purchase food and you stock. You stock it.
Silos or whatever.
Brokers are going to buy these products and making a mockery of our farmers, so that when it comes time for speculative, they sell it at a high price. There must be value, Jeff, for the people who work hard, farmers of this country. When you tell people to do food security, they want to cultivate their crops. In Rift Valley, we have a bread basket, and we know they are going to store their products. If it's Makueni, Kitui, where people have ndengus from here to eternity, you can have ndengu for breakfast, lunch, and brunch. Government should intervene and buy the food. That is called food security. When you have problems about irrigation, Gulana Kalal, questions never answered. Dams, water reticulation. I told the senator of Tana River, he had the worst floods just a few months ago, and he will possibly have the worst famine.
At the same time.
At the same time. Same. So when you talk about food security, we must dot the I's and cross the T's. When you're talking about universal healthcare, all the stories you hear about healthcare, and Makueni has attempted to lead the pack by showing how we can do this. Healthcare is still the most expensive thing. Jeff, stay healthy.
That's it.
It's expensive to be sick in this country.
Correct. You will die.
You will die.
You will die.
And you will sell. Nobody will tell you the story, but all the medical companies offering insurances are suffering loss up to 200, 300 million shillings.
Jeff, you know, the president was right to focus on those issues in the Big Four. And because the situation has been on a decline. I know about maize, because I farm maize in Kitale.
Yes.
And many people are converting and moving away from farming of maize, because they cannot make money from it. You know, you cannot make money from it. So it was right for the president to focus on it, and it's been on decline. Maize production went down from 2016 to 2017 by 6.3%, from 37 million bags to 35, Jeff, and it has been on a decline. If you look at wheat production, went down by 23% from 2016 to 2015, from 241,000 bags. Let me just show you. 214,000 tons in 2016 to 165,000 tons. All of these things are going on a decline, and the imports are going up. So the president was right to say, where we are as a country, we must focus on the issues of food security. We must focus on manufacturing, which is to contribute 10% of our GDP. Now it contributes 8.4%. And we must focus on, of course, creation of jobs, universal healthcare as well. Jeff, what we needed to see after that and what we're pushing for. And sometimes I wish we could do this role, but it's for the National Assembly. Is you then now align the budget policy statement and the ceilings of different ministries towards the Big Four. So what it is not just statements in the budget statement that, oh, in line with the Big Four, we're doing this, yet you give us the same budget that you gave us last year. You've given us the exact same budget this next year. So there must be a realigning, and I'm sure in the coming financial year, because the budget process takes 11 months, that they're then now aligning their focus and partnering with the private sector. For instance, Nairobi, I need 68,000 new units, or rather, units of housing, not in terms of houses, but like flats, high rises, that can be able to fill that deficit. The government cannot be able to afford to do that, So you need people to have structured a good enough public-private partnership where somebody in the private sector will come and say, look, I will put up 2,000 units, I'll build them, I'll operate, and I'll transfer them after 20 years after I've gotten my profits. You need people to come and say, okay, I'm incentivized to do agriculture. I'm very glad the other day I had for the first time leaders from Western, some of the leaders from Western, speaking the truth about sugar. We keep lying to our people that you can actually make money from this industry, yet our people are the poorest of the poor in Western because of sugarcane farming. And that somebody can import sugar from Brazil all the way to the port of Mombasa. It is cleared and paid, the duty is paid. Goes all the way to the gate of Mumias, and it is cheaper than the sugar coming from Mumias sugar factory. We must start saying, asking radical questions. Why is it that government buys maize? Why is it that maize cannot be a factor of the economy? Why doesn't government buy potatoes? And we must start asking radical questions so to make sure that, one, we produce as much as we can from the land that we have. We need extension officers back. Agricultural extension officers who would come and test your soil, who would come and tell this farmer, even smallholder farmers, look, how you're doing this, you need change, give your farmer rest for this number of months, put your beans together with this crop, etc. They're no longer there. And the county governments must then now play their role, and there must be that partnership, because agriculture really is at the county level,
and it's the backbone of this economy.
It's the backbone. It's the biggest contributor to our GDP.
It's still the biggest contributor, agriculture. And Jeff, and the president had good intentions, but they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Maybe
was that Balala who said that?
No, it's not Balala. He wouldn't know where the statement came from. No, seriously, the point is that when you talk about affordable healthcare, you're not talking about Sakaja.
No.
Right.
When you're talking about affordable housing, you're also not talking about Jeff. I mean, you're above the line.
Yes.
You're talking about the bottom of the pyramid. Correct. The people who matter. I don't know whether Mtai Ngunya has read a book that I've also always mentioned. It's called More Human by Steve Hilton. That in our planning, we must incorporate the human aspect. When we are doing our Solai report, the human aspect of it as opposed to many other things. What is the human aspect? The human angle to affordable healthcare and affordable housing, manufacturing. Since Sakaja is doing the Youth Week, I would add innovation. Our young people are thinking about innovation. We should have innovation hubs. We should set aside money in our budget for the youth of this country who can innovate anything. Because that is where their skills are. When you tell them to go and manufacture, you're targeting the big boys. You're not targeting the youth, the people who are skilled, do not have employment. At the same time, Jeff, while you're doing manufacturing and you're not doing innovation, you have the Chinese who are doing our jobs.
Yes. But Jeff, even before, I think we need to talk about that further, this Chinese thing.
Yes.
But look at what the president has been able to do. One is focused us to talk about those issues. We're incentivizing the private sector. For instance, if you're manufacturing from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., power is half. And then there's certain incentives that actually will help build it. As we do that, we must look at manufacturing, not just in terms of the big guys, the Bitcos and these big companies that wear, with suits and ties who come to, for KEPSA meetings. Look at our small traders. Look at the guys at Juakali who lost property outside Gikomba, and where 15 people died, unfortunately. The kind of furniture that is being produced there, Jeff, that is the manufacturing we're talking about. They should be supported, not being demolished for their structures every day, not being chased out of the business that they're doing. So we need to have a paradigm shift. When we talk about manufacturing, when we talk about how it is the actual people down on the ground. Hawkers are private sector. They're players in the private sector.
Yes.
Why are we chasing them instead of providing for them room for them to operate? But today you'll tell, business people in Westlands market, they were chased because because the road is being done. Yet the Westlands market was being built. It is not complete and work on the road has not begun.
And yet they were chased.
Them. You know,
destroying livelihoods.
So we must have that human, aspect of it. Yeah. But I support the president 100% on Big Four, and what he has done, the stroke of genius. Let me tell you, that is going to help the Big Four work is a handshake, because what he has done is been able to get political ceasefire at a time. And let me tell you, recently I'd gone to see him about my traders in Nyamakima and Kamkunji and the ones who had demonstrated because they're being harassed at the port. Their goods are being confiscated. People are going to say this is counterfeit, taking them, then selling them, and told them, no, let's not harass this. But when I'd gone to see him, as I was leaving, I saw a very interesting meeting in State House. I saw members of parliament and senators of Jubilee and NASA sitting around a table talking about Big Four issues. If there was no handshake, that would not happen. Never. Malala would not be there sitting with the president. Correct. Some of the guys from the National Assembly who had been rabidly against us will not be there. So we have a situation where now leaders can say, look, the elections are over. The other ones, forget about it. It will come. What can we do today to better the lot of Kenyans?
Hold on. On to that thought.
Hold on.
I hold to the thought, or
hold the thought. you notice how Senator rolls, huh?
Yeah.
I was with the president, and
No.
That's how you roll, right?
Casually. Imagine.
That's how he rolls.
I was about to tell him, say hi to him.
I'm sure he's watching by there. But the point is,
I was going to say something.
I'm sorry. You can say as I walk towards the tweets, but you can talk.
On the Big Four.
Yes.
The stroke of genius, in fact, in addition to what Senator Kaja said, we have had this quarrel about what we call functions at national level and county functions. In the Constitution 2010, the Big Four is actually county functions. What the president is doing is having national and county outlook. Means that you can now have programs at national level implemented at counties, so that the fight between who is who, we have 48 governments.
Different governments.
Yes. So this is an agenda for everybody. That is the stroke of genius. So perhaps, in my own view, and I could be wrong, the corruption. Corruption is the biggest impediment to the Big Four.
Correct.
So that's why he has in a master stroke, decided to hang them, so that then the Big Four can have room.
And he's focused on it.
Yeah, because if corruption remains where it is, I call it the 48th county in Kenya, is corruption. 48th county, which has no president, has no color. The Big Four will go nowhere.
But we need to see heads roll.
Oh yeah.
We have to see heads roll.
There will be results of Kamata Friday.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. And he's going to move to Saturday.
There will be results.
Monica, should we read the tweets? Where am I? Over here? Okay. This other side? Thank you. Okay. Ibra Moshe Q says, with the kind of sober minds like we are having today, the future is luminous for this great Kenya. Luminous. Mike Adaka Barikiwa says, JK Live, these two gentlemen speaking the truth that other politicians fear. I hope that their table report will be implemented for the good of this nation. Lovely show, nice, calm discussion. Well done. Omulo Frank, you say, these two guys need to stand up. Kenya needs such vibrancy. Let them dare the youth and all our votes will flow into their baskets. We are tired of the old dogma of leadership in our country.
Amen. That's what I can say.
I think he's trying to say we can go to hell. We are tired of reports. We need an appropriate action to be taken, says Collins Ojijo. Justice should be given to those who deserve it. Corruption should be called by its name and brought to table. EACC should investigate Migori County. Okay. David Omwoyo, you say, for Kenya to succeed in slaying the cobra of corruption, we must end the culture of protecting the untouchables, the quote-unquote holy thieves, and instead send them where they belong permanently. We keep saying that, gentlemen. We keep saying that. We want to see heads roll. Is that it, Monica? Tweets coming in thick and fast, huh? Is that what you're trying to say? In the meantime, Ezekiel Mutula
Oh yeah. Kenya Film Corporation. What have we done?
Is it
my buddy?
Jeff, those two gentlemen, Senator Sakaja and Mutula Kilonzo Jr., are the proof that God still loves Kenya.
Amen.
They inspire hope that God still has some remnants in our body politic. May He order their steps and preserve them to keep speaking boldly and truthfully. Ezekiel Mutua, who criticizes everything about everyone,
I tell you.
says this.
Yeah.
There's hope, gentlemen. There's hope. Thank you very much, Daktari. Well done.
Thanks, and I have a date with him.
Oh, you do?
In my committee.
They
came. You remember that time there was this hue and cry about people being charged for taking photos and videos, etc. And we've agreed they're supposed to come with a model through which they are going to support startups and young people in the film industry. It's a new frontier of our economy, and we must support. So I'm waiting for him to come with his homework. I gave him an assignment to do together with the KFC. Kenya Film Commission, KFCB, the Artists Guild, the Creative Economic Council of Big Ted. There's amazing stuff going on, and that was part of my problem with Solai. As NEMA, instead of inspecting dams, you're harassing DJs every night in Nairobi.
50,000.
Yeah, you're just harassing DJs to pay 100,000 shillings. Yet you've not given them standards and told them, don't play music in this, this decibels in this area. This is residential.
Right.
This is public. You go to a bar, you arrest the DJ, you leave the bar owner.
Right. Right.
Anyway, that's another discussion.
Wagitemi says, on issues battery and human rights, why don't we have reps for human rights organizations, women issues, men issues, Nakada, etc., based at police stations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing you were saying, right?
That's what I was saying.
Chijo Carol, you say, loving the sober and necessary conversations with guests tonight on the bench with Super Senator Sakaja and Great Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr.
Now I'm Great Senator.
Super Senator and Great Senator.
GSM.
Jonge Ahmed, you say, these two young men are what Kenyans need. If the president is genuinely concerned about defeating corruption, then these are the men he should have in his corner. Well done, Jeff. Well done, you. Jaro Soldier. Gor Mahia 001.
Yes. By the congrats, Gor Mahia did well. Just the other day.
He says, Jeff, say hi to those great leaders of ours. And he says, ask Honorable Sakaja to tell us what he wants to do in 2022. Will he retain his seat or go for a big one? And tell him to call me tomorrow. I lost his number. Can you imagine? Had he called me, I lost your number.
2022 doesn't matter, Jeff. Let's focus on now. Today I'm the Senator of Nairobi, and that's what I'm focused on. I have no clue whether I'll be alive in 2022 or not, whether I'll still want to participate, whether I want to vie. It does not matter now. Let's focus, and I think it's usually very unfair. Jeff, we've just gone to the month of August. It's just, we're 8 days away from it being 1 year from when we were elected. People are already focusing on the next election.
When they will be elected.
It is disheartening and it's disrespecting Kenyans.
Absolutely.
Let's serve now.
Good point.
Then in 2022 or 2021, we can start. And let's just give it a try. Let's just try 3-4 years of work, serious work. So what, Jeff, if tomorrow I go to solve an issue in Kibera, or I go to, Riruta, people don't see me as a candidate.
Yes.
They see me as a senator.
Exactly.
So I'm not coming there as a candidate.
You're
for
not campaigning.
No, I'm not campaigning. I'm working. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it any better. In fact, in court we say I have nothing useful to add.
Nothing useful.
We cannot politic. I have said this in Makueni severally, that the minute you take those positions, you put people on the defense. Nothing gets done. Yeah. People suffer. You get your salary, sitting allowances. 5 years there's nothing to report, and then we go back to the election. We must stop the culture of electioneering.
Great point. Well put, gentlemen. Let me just read a couple more tweets and then we can wind up. Monica, is that it? Okay. Kipchumba Ruto says, these two gentlemen are the only hope Kenya has. I wish they were the president and DP. Would be a different level. I challenge them to rise for the big seats and will vote them to the last man. Nyar Juma says, loving this show with well-articulated issues. Arnold says, let Super Senator Sakaja and Senator Mutula continue taking the lead role of steering constructive dialogue and mentoring the Kenyan young people. Naftali Gidenji says, oh, I lost that one, sorry. Edward Muita says, the presidential paradigm is shifting. Sakaja and Mutula Jr. for the presidency. The future is great. And on and on and on, gentlemen.
Jeff, we must slay the dragon of tribe.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy for people to say, oh, Mutula, and we're I'm honestly very flattered, yeah, by those comments.
Yeah.
But then you get to the election and say, huyu ametoka wapi? Ni kabila gani? As we vote for ours, apana, we can't have a Luya, we can't have, he's a Masai, he's a Kale, he's what? Does it matter? You know, and until, Jeff, the day I pray for and I hope for is the day that no one will be able to tell your political choice based on your surname. Then Kenya will have come of age, politically.
Will that happen, Senator? Will that day come?
It must.
In our lifetime?
Jeff, you and I and Sakaja are sitting here. This is not a rehearsal. This is real. It can happen. But even more important, that we must get out of the culture that first of all your tribe must be president, your agement must be president. Therefore, it's going to change. Jeff, seated right here in this studio, we can change this country. It's so simple. We do our role where we are. Yeah. And if everybody does the same, it wouldn't matter who the president is. Who knows the president of Switzerland?
Nobody. Yeah. Nobody. He was here the other day.
I mean,
was he the other day? Nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
No.
But look at that country.
Look at the GDP. You are born in that country and you have $5,000 US in your account.
You're set for life.
Just by being born.
Yeah. But in Kenya, when you are born today, Jeff, you owe the Chinese.
Speaking of Chinese, you wanted to comment on that. By the way, tomorrow morning on the AM breakfast show, the new breakfast show, Wahiga Maura, I think he has an interview. I heard him talking earlier on. He has an interview with the new Chinese ambassador to Kenya.
That's the lady.
The lady, yes.
Her Excellency, yeah, she's a lovely lady.
And she just came from where was she before? Oh, Ghana. I think she was in Ghana before. Yeah.
She's been in Africa, and it also shows their focus on us. Jeff, there's an inquiry that I've picked up.
Yes.
I chair the Committee of Labour in the Senate. And this because of the complaints on the SGR. That the kind of jobs Kenyans are being made to do, how people are being treated, the fact that the signboards are still in Chinese, you have gatekeepers. The number one principle, and it's not just about Chinese, it's about any foreigners in this country, that no non-Kenyan should be doing work that can be performed by Kenyans. You cannot have Chinese coming to do cleaning, serving people tea on the SGR, doing gatekeeping, and Kenyans are not even driving that machine, according to what I'm hearing. And I'm going to inquire. Kenya Railways is coming. We'll call the CRBC, we'll call the ministry, because this is supposed to be, it's not a gift of, there are 5,000 of them working, doing jobs that 5,000 Kenyans can do. It should not be. We cannot have signs even marking the toilets, the announcements in Chinese in Kenya. I've even seen billboards in Chinese in Kenya. No. Boss. You try put a Swahili billboard in Guangzou.
Guangzou or Beijing.
Or Beijing.
Or Kamba. You know? For that matter. I mean, Kamba is a sweet language.
So we cannot sell our sovereignty. No. Yes, we are glad we're working with them and we're paying for it. We're paying heavily. Yes. We're paying for it. Yeah. But opportunities for our young people, first of all, along the railway. In Makueni, we need to see boys from Makueni and girls working at skills transfer is required. So that when they come after 2 years, they can go back home and Kenyans run the SGR and run all of that. Another, my hawkers and my small traders. Yeah. One of the complaints, and I'm glad I issued the petition. They presented today in the Senate, and I'm doing it for them together with the KRA, so to deal with the issues of their goods at the port. The small traders and the businessmen from Nyamakima, Kamukunji, and all other parts of the city and the country at large. These guys are hawking. The Chinese are hawking. So they'll sell you stuff in China, then they follow you to see where is that market, and they come and do it themselves. No, we can't allow it.
Can you imagine a Kenyan hawking in Guangzhou?
No, we cannot allow it. And what they're doing, they're opening their warehouses at 3 a.m., getting their stuff out, sending them, having proxies, pretending they're selling, but it's the Chinese selling. We cannot allow that. We cannot.
Jeff,
we must protect Kenyan business.
Jeff, it's the reason why they treat us, because we borrow from them, we look poor. We can't borrow from them and they just walk all over our heads. They can't mistreat Kenyans. I mean, recently there was an uproar about a racist remark. We're in 2018 and somebody can pen down a racist remark
from the supermarket.
From the supermarket. Yes. It's the same thing. And it's the same impunity. The same impunity Senator Sakaja and I are dealing with. Is that impunity that if you have money, you can do whatever you want. Right. You can buy or breathe the air you want. No. We want Kenyans to be proud, and I'm hoping, Jeff, that the president is going to sign my bill of allowing Kenyans to fly flags in their residences and offices, so that we begin loving this country. When we love this country, we are not going to allow people to come and to become cooks when there are Kenyans here who can cook.
And the sad thing is, then Kenyans with superior qualifications are being paid less, allegedly. And I must say allegedly because I have not investigated. But as soon as I said it, and even today I'm telling, whichever Kenyans are working there who can hear, to contact me directly.
Yes. Give out your email.
I'll give out my email here before I'll do it again. jsakaja@gmail.com.
Yes.
Contact me directly. Or senator@sakaja.co.ke. Send it to me. We will protect your confidentiality, whether if you've been told not to talk about these issues. So to protect your interests.
They signed what we call a secrecy agreement. You will not take photographs. You will not post on Facebook.
No.
You will not post on Twitter.
A first-class country.
Are we in Kenya?
No.
Did we get independence or did we shift?
It's almost like slavery.
It's worse than slavery.
Neo-colonialism.
It's neo-colonialism.
A first-class country cannot have a second-class citizen.
No.
Cannot. And we cannot allow that to happen. Yeah. So we look at it, we are grateful.
Sure.
And it's not a favor they're doing for us.
We are paying.
We're paying for
We're
it.
paying more than they're giving us by far.
Dearly.
It's not a favor.
And that's why,
you know.
Gentlemen, you know you're going to have to come back, right? You know that.
You'll have to invite us.
Standing invitation.
Thank you.
So we can just rock up.
Just rock up. Say, guys, Jeff, I'm here.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, man.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate it, Senator.
Thanks a lot.
Well done. And guys, continue doing what you do, man. You give us hope. Give us older generation hope that you guys, you know, mbele iko sawa, like they say. His famous saying.
Mbele iko sawa.
That saying by there has been doctored, but I won't say it here.
Mbele iko sawa. And siasa safi.
Super Senator Sakaja from the county 047 and Senator Mutula.
Great. I thought the lady said great. Great
Senator Mutula.
And the great Senator Mutula from Makueni. Makueni is what number?
017.
017047. You're 30 counties apart.
Oh,
nice. Well done, guys. Great stuff. This is the kind of conversation that we definitely need, folks. And I keep saying, we have to keep talking. That's the bottom line. Have to keep talking, because the moment we stop talking is the moment we start fighting. And someone also once said that with people like this, the future is so bright, it blinds my eyes. This is the kind of leadership we need, and I hope everyone and anyone who should watch and should listen is watching and listening. Thanks so much for being a part of JKL. You remember every Wednesday, it's those three letters on the keyboard that follow each other. JKL. That's right. Every Wednesday, right here, 9 p.m. on Citizen Television. And tomorrow morning, starting at 6 a.m. all the way to 10 a.m., you join me on the hottest breakfast show in all of Africa. Yes, with the new hashtag, Jeff in the morning.
You're solo.
You're flying solo.
Captain Koinange is flying solo.
Oh, I tell you.
For now. Yeah. Until, yeah. Thanks so much for being a part of the show, folks. Good night, good luck, and God bless the future of this great nation of ours.
The Bad Samaritan.